Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again with another Perils in Paradise card review, and the class reveals are finally beginning, starting today with Mage, which are also kind of Druid cards, as Druid has access to these cards, so remember that as we go along, and Big Spell Mage looks like it's absolutely coming back, as there's a lot of big stuff to talk about in this review. And if you want to win some of these big cards or any of the other cards from this expansion, we are giving away 2 regular pre-orders, 1 mega bundle out of my pocket. To enter that giveaway, like and comment in the video, link down in the description below, the one with that thumbnail over there. Be subscribed to the channel for every 1,000 subs we get until all the cards are revealed. I will add another mega bundle, so hit that sub button, make me go Barrow. So starting off, we have a new big spell for Mage, a throwback, or not a throwback, but the name is like the Little Mermaid here. Everybody's favorite theme for Hearthstone, Disney. Under the Sea, a 6 mana spell, no spell school on this, and it reads, draw a different spell, so you cannot Under the Sea into Under the Sea. Summon a random minion of that spell's cost. So the idea behind the card, you want to play a lot of big spells or just a certain number of them, and this will draw that card and give you a big random minion. Again, that random minion cannot be a Titan, or if you're playing Wild, cannot be a Colossal, but pretty much everything else is available. And you hit your projection orb, you get a random 10 drop. It could be a giant, it could be a 12/12, it could be whatever, right? There's a lot of misses on cards like this. Even if you hit like an 8 mana spell, you can just hit Brand. You feel sad. It doesn't have the Discover ability on it. It's purely random. So that does open up the fact it could be any class's cards on the board or a neutral. But overall, I don't know. 6 mana just to draw a spell and get a random minion seems very not amazing. It is similar, I guess, the old Elemental back in the day that used to like draw a spell from your deck and you would get a minion of the same cost from that. That's all played 8 mana. It did see play, and this is 6 mana. You don't get that Elemental with it, but it can work in a similar fashion. It has a shot. I just feel like in today's Hearthstone, just one big minion is so easy to answer. Like everything is answered so ridiculously easy in today's game. I don't know, but you are drawing those spells to further your plans going forward. You can cheat this out for 5 mana if you really want with the new legendary. I'll give it a 3. Nah, I feel like a few years ago it's a 3. I feel like today's game it's a 2. It's not enough in today's game. I just feel like it's not. I'm gonna give it a 2 in both formats, especially in Wild where just a random minion is not enough, even though you're drawing a spell. I'm just not convinced that in today's Hearthstone it's good enough, but it's like right on the fringe for me. I could absolutely see it seeing play. I'm just gonna bet that it's going to be a little bit short. Next, we have a new beast for Mage, the Cephalopods, a 5 mana, 5/6 battle cry minion. The next spell you draw is cast when drawn. So you play this on 5 and you top deck that, Under the Sea card, then it'll just draw that spell and you get a big minion for free. That's pretty good. You get your, any big spell for free. It's pretty good as long as it's just targeting, hopefully minions or something like that. You could get a Pocket Galaxy in Wild. You could get the Puzzle Box in Wild. There's some absolute shenanigans, but it does not draw the card itself. You have to eventually do that too, or you play that 6 mana spell and it draws a spell, which will then be cast right away, which could also be crazy. So there's a lot of potential like double dipping on mana cheat with this card, right? So wouldn't totally write it off. We have seen there was like the legendary for Druid that had like your next 3 spells when drawn would cast. That was decent, except not at all. It was terrible. Why did I say that was decent? It was an atrocious card. I don't know. I'll give this a 3. There's just so many levels of mana cheating. I don't know what Druid's going to be doing with this if Druid wants to play this in the deck. There's not a lot of big spells, at least in standard, you really want to utilize and take advantage of with this, especially that like is non-targeted. Not entirely sure. I feel like this is more for Mage, but again, we have to wait till the last day to know what the Druid cards are. They're like, oh wait, I want to do that with Druid. That makes sense. But yeah, I'll give this a 3 in standard. I think it's got a bit of a shot in a wild. I don't know, maybe just play Pocket Galaxy as your only spell and this kind of will work with it. You tutor. Yeah, I don't know if that'll work. I'll give it a 2. It's probably too slow for that format, but you do have the puzzle boxes, the galaxies, the big dragon spells of the world that you could possibly, do some pretty crazy stuff with. And hey, here's another big spell we could possibly do some rather large things with. The Tsunami, an 8 mana frost spell. You summon 3/6 water elementals that freeze. They attack random enemies. So this is like better than Deep Freeze was back in the day. That was an 8 mana spell. You got to freeze a character and you'd summon 2 water elementals. Now you get to summon 3 and they attack immediately. And we get a new water elemental art, which is really nice. I actually think that's a really sick artwork. So you get new artwork with it. It's an epic spell. Again, it works with all those cheating synergies. You can play this in Druid, so now Druid has access to freeze and they can ramp up into this and maybe play it a bit earlier. So you gotta look out. Druid might really like this card too. Absolutely could see play. And again, this could cost 5 mana with our Mage Legendary that could also be played in Druid. So this seems like a really strong card. Immediate board impact, 3/4 mana minions. That's worth 12 mana. They attack. That's just, at some point, that much amount of value for 8 mana is gotta be worth something. I think it's a very solid card. I think this can see play, and you can Infantize the Maxitude, just discover it anyways. And then you can recast this with your Projection Orb. There's some real possibilities, or this just goes into Spell Mage. Just play Spell Mage and like you play that Skull card, hit this for 3 mana, and you're laughing too. There's a lot of possibilities for it. I'll give it a 4. I think it's a really good card. I will give this a 4 to 5 in standard. In wild, yeah, I think it's too slow. I'll give it a 2. Although you'll really lock down those Kingsbane rogues with this. You really want to beat Kingsbane rogue? As long as you don't die by the time you play the Tsunami, you're probably going to beat them up pretty well. And then lastly, we have the Rising Waves, a 3 mana spell. So not so big. Not sure if you want to play this in your big Spell Mage deck, but it has deal 2 damage to all minions. If none die, deal 2 more. So this could be like a 3 mana Flame Strike, which is pretty good, right? Although Flame Strike got buffed to 5, so not quite anymore. But yeah, you deal 2, none of them die. You deal 4, that's great. It does include your own minions. It's all minions, so you gotta have that factored in. But 3 mana AoE that does 2 is like relatively playable. It's, not good enough style of card to see play these days. Volcanic Potion crying in a corner. But, if the meta calls for it, it can be all right. And I believe I guess it wouldn't really work with Death Rattles, because if you proc the Death Rattle, you probably killed a minion. So it won't do it again. Probably not consistent enough to see meta play. And if you're playing big Spell Mage, you don't want this. You're playing no Minion Mage, maybe you want this, right? No Minion Mage, again, they like the early AoE and all that. It's borderline. I'm going to lean towards a 2 out of 5 in standard and wild. But if the meta calls for it, it could absolutely be a valid Mage card. So that's all the Mage cards for now. Tune in later. Today, we will have our own reveal with our own cards, including, still haven't seen that Tourist Legendary. So we might be showing that off a little bit later today. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.